Tonight on NewsVision, we will tell you what major change the University of Miami has implemented to make one of the most crowded parking lots on campus more accessible to students.
Well, it's all through a GPS system, so it'll let you know on your way to class or so if there's parking, if it's full.
Plus, the war in Iran is more than 7,000 miles from Coral Gables, but one local business has suffered direct consequences from the attacks.
It's unfortunate. It's just a little unlucky.
And later on, one of the world's biggest EDM festivals is back in town. We will take you live to Bayfront Park, where preparations for Ultra are in full swing. All this and more on tonight's program, and it starts right now.
The University of Miami has just rolled out a new initiative to keep students from being late to class and wasting gas.
You may have seen the signs that have been popping up all over campus offering students a way to find parking fast.
Amanda Muhammad is live in the red zone parking lot right outside the studio where the Parking and Transportation Department is testing the new tool. Amanda, how does it work?
As of now, before weekdays at 4 p.m., commuter students with a permit are only allowed to park in their assigned color zone. And for students that park here in red lot next to the School of Communication, finding an open spot can be a daily frustration. Some students say they spend half an hour or even longer circling this lot just to find an open space, really any space, even if it means squeezing into a spot and risking damage to their car. Parking officials tell me that a lot of this difficulty comes from non-red lot permit holders taking up space, which is why they decided to start booting cars last month. And the only way to unboot your car is by paying your ticket fine immediately through a smart self-release app called Paylock. But now the university is testing out a new feature on the UMiami app that can help red lot parkers find some availability and direct them to an open space. University of Miami senior Merritt Scherer has been parking in the red lot for 2 years so she can be close to her psychology classes.
It's more painful than anything sometimes, I have enough time.
Scherer says that even when she leaves early, there is no guarantee she will find a convenient spot. She often ends up parking far from her classes and sometimes arriving late after spending extra time circling the lot. That is a frustration many students say feels even worse when they are paying more than $600 a year to park in one of red lot's 1,448 spots.
Some of my professors she'll count you as not absent, but tardy if you're more than 5 minutes late, and the tardies add up to an absence.
UMTV has been reporting on parking challenges in the red lot for at least 25 years.
Parking just to get in the spot is like a chore.
But how long does it take during peak class times to find a parking spot in red lot? I'm going to time it myself to find out.
I got lucky today that it only took me about 4 minutes to find a spot. That could be the difference between being on time or late for class. Now, red lot permit holders can use a new real-time parking availability feature on the UMiami app. The Parking and Transportation Department sent an email to parking permit holders on March 23rd explaining how to access the tool and indicated the red lot is serving as a pilot program before the feature expands to other parking zones.
Well, it's all through a GPS system, so it'll let you know on your way to class or so if there's parking, if it's full. And if so, it'll let you know where you can find parking.
To use the feature, log in with your credentials, tap Parking in Transit, then select Parking Availability Red Lot. The app shows a map of the lot divided into sections. Red means limited spots, green means more availability.
It just increases visibility of the problem, but it doesn't actually solve the problem, which is that it's so crowded.
Using the app, it took me less than 90 seconds to find a spot. Officials wrote in an email that they will judge the pilot based on measuring usage, system reliability, and whether it improves the overall parking experience, along with direct feedback from the community. For students racing to make it to class on time, even a few minutes saved could make a big difference.
I don't know if it's worth it.
parking officials told me that there is no set timeline as to when this feature will expand to other parking zones, but for now they are using all of the feedback that they received from the red lot to work out any issues before a possible campus-wide launch. Live from the red lot, Amanda Muhammad, UMTV.
Thank you, Amanda. Florida Democrats have made a legislative pickup in an unexpected place.
First-time candidate Emily Gregory has beat a Trump-endorsed candidate in the president's own backyard, the district home to his Mar-a-Lago estate.
Lázaro Chavez joins us now in studio to explain what the win means for both parties ahead of the midterms.
Thank you, Madison and Mary. Emily Gregory won the seat in a special election to fill a vacancy when Governor Ron DeSantis appointed State Rep Mike Caruso, who won the seat in 2024 by nearly 20% to become Palm Beach County Clerk. And now many Democrats are viewing the win as ironic and symbolic, with a Democrat winning a seat to represent the president at the state level. Gregory beat Trump-endorsed candidate John Maples. Maples had also been accused of not living in the district, which would have disqualified him to hold the seat. The win is the latest in a series of electoral upsets against Republicans since the 2024 election, with Democrats having flipped more than 24 seats so far. This is also not the first seat Democrats have put in their column in the Sunshine State. Last November, the city of Miami elected its first female mayor, Democrat Aline Higgins, breaking the 30-year stronghold the GOP had on the city. They also flipped the mayor's office of Boca Raton earlier this month after a 45-year losing streak for the Democrats. Gregory said she's hopeful to be a good public servant for all her constituents, including President Trump.
When I talk to my neighbors, whether it doesn't really matter what your political stripe is, we all want the same things. And we want safety and security and prosperity, and we all see the same affordability issues that we want tackled. And they're not being tackled in Tallahassee. So I think if not me, who, and if not now, when? I'd be interested to know what his top concerns are at the state level.
Democrats are hoping the race will make them competitive in Florida once again, despite facing a voter registration deficit of over 1 million voters. Democrats also gained a victory in a district in West Tampa that was held by Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins. The DNC is hoping that momentum will be on their side in November, both statewide and nationally, while Republicans have maintained confidence in their chances to maintain control of Congress, despite the president's party losing seats or complete control of Congress during midterms over the last 50 years. The president also voted by mail in the special election, a method of voting he criticized heavily in 2020.
You know what? Because I'm president of the United States, and because of the fact that I'm president of the United States, I did a mail-in ballot for elections that took place in Florida, because I felt I should be here instead of being in the beautiful sunshine.
While Florida has become a Republican stronghold over the past 2 decades, the GOP is looking for some hope out west, where 2 Republicans lead a pack of Democrats to succeed Governor Gavin Newsom in the all-party jungle primary there. Back here in Florida, Gregory's election is for a partial term, but she's expected to run for the full term in November. Madison, Mary?
Thank you, Lazaro. Talks between the U.S. and Cuban governments continue amidst a humanitarian crisis in the island. A ship from Mexico that brought food, solar panels, and medicine arrived in Cuba on Tuesday as part of a caravan protesting U.S. blockade of Venezuelan oil to the island. The lack of oil has caused power grids on the island to go out, causing rolling blackouts. And in South Florida, many Cuban Americans have staged large protests against the Cuban government, hoping to put pressure on the president to make change in Havana. Jessica Valdez went to the latest rally in Mylander Park.
In Hialeah, music, chants, and a call for freedom echoed through Mylander Stadium at the Free Cuba rally, as hundreds gathered in Cuban and American flags for a single message: a free Cuba. From those who once called the island home to younger generations who've never been, the crowd united across backgrounds and generations. Cuba has been under a communist government since 1959, and now supporters here say conditions on the island are reaching a breaking point.
It's simple. We have nothing.
Ongoing shortages, limited resources, and a lack of basic necessities, leaving many here feeling this is the time to fight more than ever.
Anyone who hasn't witnessed for 60-odd years the murders, all the abuses, that place looks like a garbage dump. The most beautiful thing in the world looks like a garbage dump.
The free rally, hosted by the city of Hialeah and the Cuban Anti-Communist Foundation, featured speakers, performances, and community leaders, all calling for a change on the island. Beyond the music and celebration, a clear and urgent demand. But support for the cause extends beyond Cuba. For many here, that message comes from personal experience.
I had to leave my country and come here without knowing anyone. I arrived alone, with 2 children, knowing no one, and it was the Cubans who helped me.
Many here left everything behind, their countries, their homes, even family. This journey started long before this rally, all in the name of freedom. For UMTV, I'm Jessica Valdez.
The surprise war that the United States and Israel launched on Iran is approaching a full month with no end in sight. It's unclear how many people have died so far in the conflict, with different accounts varying from 3,000 to 7,000. Earlier today, President Trump said the U.S. will continue its military campaign if Iran does not permanently abandon its nuclear ambitions. Tehran has reportedly dismissed Trump's 15-point ceasefire plan. Trump says it was Iran looking to make a deal and that he wasn't the one pushing for negotiations.
They are begging to make a deal, not me. They are begging to make a deal. They are begging to work out a deal. I don't know if we'll be able to do that. I don't know if we're willing to do that. They should have done that 4 weeks ago. They should have done it 2 years ago.
Meanwhile, CNN has reported that some 1,000 U.S. soldiers with the Army's 82nd Airborne Division are expecting to deploy to the Middle East.
And while the war with Iran is more than 7,000 miles from here, a Miami-based car company is dealing with the fallout from it after dozens of its vehicles were damaged in a missile strike in Dubai. Koss Auto is a family-owned auto company in Miami Lakes. Its owner says more than 50 brand new Nissan vehicles were sitting at a port in Dubai when a missile struck nearby, damaging the entire lot with windshields shattered, charred metal, and vehicles left covered in debris. The damage has been estimated at almost $400,000.
It's unfortunate. It's just a little unlucky to be in that, for our inventory to be near the impact area. But yeah, it's just part of doing business, and we're gonna just continue.
Chamoun says that Koss Auto is already paying higher shipping costs and rerouting vehicle shipments to keep business moving. That's because since the beginning of the war with Iran, key shipping routes like the Strait of Hormuz have been disrupted.
The war in Iran has led to rising gas prices all over the world over the past few weeks. The United States AAA reports regular gas is averaging almost $4 a gallon. The high gas prices have affected University of Miami commuter students who say they have to make some tough choices.
It's made me think about more like whether or not just sitting on campus is worth it, like versus going home, because my schedule has like a gap to where it's like enough time to where I can just go home, take a nap, and come back. But I think about like how much my gas is gonna go down from that, and I'm trying to make each fill up worth it, like each couple miles worth it.
To lower prices at the pump, the Trump administration announced it is relaxing some environmental regulations on gasoline. One analyst says the changes could reduce the average price by about 13 cents a gallon.
We're going to take a short break, but coming up, we'll show you what the city is doing to keep people safe ahead of this weekend's Ultra Music Festival. Plus, we'll introduce you to one entrepreneur who's found an interesting way to offer original art to customers. NewsVision will be right back.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping, and I can't let this happen to my kid. So if you want to talk to your kids, you have to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Let's go.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape.
Nearly 500 TSA agents have quit since the partial government shutdown began on January 31st, and many more are calling out sick. According to the Department of Homeland Security, this is because many agents cannot afford gas, childcare, or rent, as they have been working without pay since the start of the shutdown.
I feel angry. I feel used. I feel abused. This is not a job. This is a career. To know that we're coming on our third missed paycheck in less than 5 months.
This past weekend, President Trump ordered federal immigration officers to assist TSA with security in some U.S. airports. The ICE agents were deployed to 14 major airports in cities including Atlanta, Houston, and New York.
The Miami and Fort Lauderdale airports have also been affected by the long lines of travelers passing through.
And it's about to get even worse with spring break in full swing and hundreds of thousands of visitors expected to arrive for the Ultra Music Festival this weekend.
And Miami-Dade County is taking new steps to protect its most vulnerable amid all these events.
Jaden Cohey joins us live from Bayfront Park to tell us more. Jaden?
Madison, I'm here at Bayfront Park where preparations are underway for Ultra Music Festival. That's going to go tomorrow through Sunday, and it's one of several events throughout the year in Miami that's going to bring some large crowds. And because of this, a few weeks ago, the State Attorney General's office met with local officials and community members to announce a major expansion in funding with the goal of combating human trafficking in Miami-Dade County. This $1.5 million initiative is going to expand police presence during events such as Ultra, support prosecutions, and support victim services, especially for organizations like Camila's House.
Miami is getting ready for a big year, from the World Baseball Classic to Ultra Music Festival to the Miami Open and even the FIFA World Cup. These events are expected to bring visitors from all around the world, but experts say where there are large crowds, there can also be increased risk.
You see anywhere where there's tourism, you will see an uptick.
What Erica Pineros is referring to is human trafficking. It's not just a global issue, it could happen right here in Miami-Dade County.
It could happen to your brother, your sister, your child, your grandchild. It's not something that happens in a different country. It's something that's happening in our own backyard.
Human trafficking involves force, fraud, or coercion to exploit people for labor or sex. In Miami-Dade, over 200 cases have been reported in recent years, and advocates say many more go undetected.
The youngest client that I've ever worked with was 11, and the oldest was 64.
Places like Camila's House have been providing services to the homeless and most vulnerable for more than half a decade, and are trying to help people to start over.
Whenever you're put in a vulnerable situation, they're put in a position where human trafficking and a lot of these predators can take advantage of people.
And that's where organizations such as Camila's House come into play.
Some staff here at Camila's House refer to this front gate behind me here as a beacon of hope, because when residents walk through, they are not just getting the basic needs such as food and shelter. They are getting specialized mental health resources and a plan on how to live a self-sustained, happy, and healthy life once they leave.
We need more funding to get people into better situations.
And that funding is on the way. Officials have granted $1.5 million to support law enforcement operations, prosecutions, and expanded services for survivors. For Miami residents such as University of Miami junior Jalen Matthews, safety at these events is something you can never have too much of.
Ultra and music festivals is a place where a lot of recreational activities happen. So I feel like people take recreational substances and it can lead to maybe not being safe.
We work very closely with the state attorney's office, and we're committed, and our CEO promised 50 beds for recovery, which is unseen.
For Camila's House and other organizations on the front lines, this work is more than numbers. It's about breaking a cycle and giving people a second chance.
The University of Miami is also taking steps to ensure student safety during the festival. On March 4th, Dean of Student Affairs Dr. Pat Wiley sent out a message to students emphasizing the importance of making smart and positive decisions during the festival weekend, especially when it relates to alcohol and other drugs. Narcan will be available throughout the weekend, as well as security that will be stationed all around the park. And when it comes to events like Ultra, it's important to just trust your instincts. That way everyone can have a fun and safe time together. Live from Bayfront Park, Jaden Cohey, UMTV.
Thank you, Jaden. March is probably my favorite month. We've got Miami Music Week and the weather. The weather has been phenomenal.
I mean, we just have to hope that the weather holds up for such an important week like this. We actually have student meteorologist William DePaula joins us with more on the forecast for this week. William?
Yeah, guys, luckily it looks like the great weather is going to continue, at least for the next couple of days. Take a look at it Friday and Saturday. If you're heading over to Ultra, looks like some great conditions out there. But unfortunately, look at Sunday. Those rain chances are going to be bothering us once again. See those rain chances upwards 70%. So you're going to want to bring the rain gear with you as you're heading on out the door Sunday. Now, taking a closer look at these precip chances, we see today in the next couple of days, hovering right around that 20% mark. And if you know you were outside today, it was gorgeous out there. So even though these values aren't zero, doesn't mean we're necessarily going to be guaranteed to see any rain out there. It's not going to be seeing these values going way up towards 70 and 55%. That's when we're going to be more likely to see that rain. That's when you're going to want to bring that rain gear with you as you head on outside. And if you're going to Ultra on Sunday, definitely bring a poncho with you. Now, this rain, as we time it out, it's not going to be popping up until midday tomorrow. We see here in the Miami area. Luckily, it's going to be on out of here by the nighttime hours. So if you're going to Ultra, you should be dry. And then as we take a look at Saturday evening, you might be looking at that and say, that's a lot of green. That looks like we're probably going to be dealing with some rain. Luckily, this is going to be lighter. It's not going to be widespread rain, so we shouldn't be dealing with much, if any, at all. This is most likely an overestimate. Now, it's not until we push into Sunday we see these darker shades of green and even some yellow starting to pop up. That's when we might be dealing with some of that more widespread rain. That's why you're going to want to bring that poncho with you, maybe have an umbrella handy as well. Now, any of this rain is going to be good rain because the big story this dry season has been how far below average we've been for rain. We see the entire state is dealing with those drought conditions, and we even have an area of this dark red. That's that exceptional drought starting to form in northern Florida. Luckily, we don't have that here in South Florida. We're still dealing with that moderate and that severe drought and that extreme drought to our west, and luckily some of this rain should be putting a dent into it. Now, looking at that 7-day forecast, we have some great temperatures and conditions next couple of days. That rain early on next week, but luckily clearing out for later on next week.
Thank you, Will. Today is Equal Pay Day, a date that marks how far into the new year women have to work to earn what men made last year. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, women in the United States who work full-time year-round earn about 81 cents for every dollar men make. That's down 83 cents last year and 84 cents the year before. This is the first time the gap has widened for 2 years in a row since the 1960s. Advocates say Equal Pay Day is part of a larger effort to highlight pay gaps for women.
In South Florida, art is everywhere, but for artists, getting people to actually see their work is a challenge. As Rafaela Ochoa tells us, one female-founded initiative is helping artists gain recognition in the community.
Jessica Kirby is a South Florida multidisciplinary artist who uses painting and digital designs to bring her ideas to life.
I've just been creating since I could hold a pencil and a brush.
And for her, it was never a question of if.
I've always known that this was my path.
But a question of how. Because turning that passion into a career isn't easy. After college, Kirby took a stable graphic design job because it was a 9-to-5 that provided more stability than full-time art.
I got really dissatisfied with not having time to paint.
So she decided to take a risk.
Little me's dream of selling paintings.
But for many emerging artists,
the lack of stability has been the toughest challenge.
She's not alone. Organizations supporting artists say this kind of instability is common.
People are not spending like they normally would on art.
The 2026 Art Basel and UBS Art Market Report says smaller galleries represent less artists than major art galleries. Additionally, real estate firm JLL says industrial space prices in South Florida have increased about 26% over the last 2 years, making studio space even harder to afford. A new idea in West Palm Beach is trying to address some of these challenges in a way most people won't expect. Inside this machine, you might expect to find snacks, but look a little closer. And you'll see these colorful objects are not candy, they're local art.
Flamingo Vending is a series of art vending machines where we feature local Palm Beach County artists and make art more accessible in location and in price.
The machine works just like any other vending machine, but instead of choosing a snack, you're choosing a piece of art. You just make your selection, pay with card or with Apple Pay, take it out, and you're officially an art owner.
That little piece of art can lead to a larger commission. Doing something unique makes the difference between those who are just doing the museum stuff and those that are trying to get into another avenue where other people can pay attention to what those artists are doing.
With pieces ranging from $4 to $50, the machines lower the barrier for both artists and buyers.
I really think it just brings someone joy in a familiar way.
For Kirby, that connection is a game changer.
It allows people to be able to take it home, which has been something that I've struggled with leading up to this point.
And for customers, it's a different way to experience art.
Some people have bought a few pieces, and then that's for their children to have a small start on an art gallery. People then bought a few pieces and they hang them over their dog's food bowls. Their dog now gets a little art gallery. It's a way to enjoy art on a different scale.
As South Florida's art scene continues to grow, artists like Kirby are finding new ways to make their work seen, one small art piece at a time. For UMTV, I'm Rafaela Ochoa.
Coming up on the 2-minute drill, Miami men's basketball season ended last weekend, but not before they made history for the U.
That's right, Liam. And as wide receiver for Miami, Keelan Marion would say it's time to lace your boots up because Miami football is officially back.
All this and more coming up after the break. Keep it locked.
It's important to get a flu shot each and every year because flu viruses are constantly changing and immunity from the vaccine decreases over time. Flu vaccines are updated annually to work against that year's viruses. The best time to get your shot is in the fall, but getting it later can still help. Getting a flu shot lowers your risk of getting sick, and if you do happen to get flu, it's likely to be less severe.
What's up, Canes fans? We welcome you into the 2-minute drill as we unfortunately have to say goodbye to what was an outstanding Miami men's basketball season.
That's right, Liam. But March did start off hot. The Canes clearly saw the word madness behind the word March, and that sparked something because they handled business against Missouri in that first game, round of 64. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it done in the round of 32 against Purdue.
Regardless, the future is still bright with head coach Jay Lucas at the helm, who tied the all-time NCAA Division I record with a 19-win improvement from last year's 7-24 season.
That's right. They went from 7-24 to 7 and plenty more. The Canes are clearly hungry, and they're ready for what's next. And speaking of hungry, the Canes' very own Keontae Scott showing out in his pro day on Monday.
Scott, a.k.a. Agent Zero, ran a 4.33 unofficial 40-yard dash in front of over 100 NFL scouts and personnel who all flocked to the U to come see the Canes' best and top prospects, including the one and only Ruben Bain Jr.
Speaking of Ruben Bain Jr., actually, Liam, there's a video going around right now with the media, and it's kind of crazy. As we see right here, Ruben Bain Jr. jumping off the line. Am I missing something, or does he glitch? I really can't tell. It's insane. I mean, this guy's a phenom.
A real-life cheat code, and it's a bittersweet moment watching all these Canes legends making plays on Green Tree for the final time. But tell you what, transfer quarterback Darian Mentz's time is just beginning, and he was already throwing ropes to the Canes' new wide receivers in Tuesday's official first spring practice of 2026.
Absolutely, and he'll be wearing number 10. Speaking of 10, he's playing 10 out of 10 football right now. As we got a video coming up, the sophomore sensation right here. Oh, what a throw over to Cam Vaughn, West Virginia transfer. I mean, this is pretty right on a rope. I mean, listen. From the looks of things right now in spring, I think we're in pretty good hands right now. Things are looking good in Coral Gables.
The Canes spring practice window opens up and rolls on until April 18th, so fans can expect to see highlights like those all month long. That'll do it for this edition of the 2-minute drill. Mary, back to you.
Thanks, guys. This week, South Floridians are celebrating the gentle giants of the Florida coast. On Wednesday, Manatee Appreciation Day brought the community to the Deering Estates water basin to view manatees in their natural habitat. The day's activities included a nature walk, a manatee art installation, and a mock manatee rescue led by University of Miami students.
Because these are really important species for maintaining the ecosystem around the Florida coast.
Aside from being affectionately known as cows of the sea, manatees play a vital role along Florida's coast by helping keep seagrass levels in check and act as indicators of a healthy ecosystem. Madison, let me tell you, one of my favorite memories from the University of Miami, I think it was my sophomore year, I was walking by the business school, I look over in the canal, and I see a giant mama manatee with 3 babies.
Wait, okay, that's kind of crazy because like when I first came here, I wasn't expecting to see manatees on my way to class. Kind of random, but
manatees on the way to class. We have ducks. What else we got? We got lizards.
Everything here at this point.
Lizards were falling out of the sky at one point.
Yeah, well, that's all the time we have for NewsVision. Thank you for joining us.
We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Have a good night.